I'm going to show you how to fix this Panasonic plasma TV with an 8-blink error code. This model specifically is a TC-P50UT50. When I power it on, my red standby light comes on, but then immediately starts blinking 8 times. So let's open it up and find out why. Now, the most common reason we see an 8-blink error code is due to a defect with the SS board. That's going to be the long skinny board on the right side over here. In order to access the SS board, I first need to remove the main board over here. Okay, and now the SS board is free and clear. Alright, now let's take a closer look at this board under the microscope and do some multimeter checks. This is the orientation of the board when it is in the TV, and the part we're going to focus on is the upper parts. Typically, the two components that are on this top heatsink tend to overheat and fail. Now, something I've noticed immediately is someone's already worked on it. And we do see a lot of, I think, flux. It looks like it's burnt flux for the most part, so let's clean it up and take another look. I'm going to use isopropyl alcohol, and I'm actually going to use a metal brush to try and clean this off. Okay, and it looks like, yeah, it was for the most part just burnt flux. It doesn't look too bad. Just whoever worked on this before did not clean up after themselves. Which technically, if you're using no clean flux, that should be fine. Just doesn't look as pretty. Okay, that looks a heck of a lot better. To determine if those two components are defective, we're going to use our multimeter in beep mode to check for shorts. So when I have a short, I get a beep from my multimeter. We're going to put one lead on the middle pin, and the outside pins are shorted. That's the diode D041, and this one is Q051, so that's going to be a transistor. G is not shorted, E is shorted. Okay, for reference, the diode is RF2001 and the transistor is a DG302. So we're gonna go ahead and unscrew them, remove them, and replace them. So I'm just gonna use my drill, and it looks like the paste that was used is quite crusty. So we'll definitely need to clean that up and replace it as well. All right, and I'm gonna try to just remove them without putting flux or additional leaded solder. Nope, doesn't look like that's gonna work. Ooh, that's better. All right, looks like I'm getting the bulk of it, but not all of it. I think we're gonna try and get the rest with the desolder wick. So I have the board flipped back to the top, and I'm going to see if I can desolder it from the top side. Maybe that was a little ambitious. That might not work. Oh, this leg might work. No, never mind. It definitely looks like there's still some solder inside of those joints. Maybe I just need to add that flux after all. Well, it looks like everything's moving around. I'm afraid I'm really damaging the pad a little bit here. Okay, let me see. Can I wiggle this out at all? I want to remove it without ripping anything, but I'm afraid I did. Okay, looking at the pads, they don't look great, but I think we can salvage. I think a lot of that is just, again, burnt flux. But we can clearly tell the thermal paste is extremely crusty, so we absolutely have to replace that. We have both of our components out of circuit. I want to do another check. No shorts and no shorts. See this one? We do have a short and no short. So let's take a look. The shorted one was our DG302 transistor, and the diode, the RF2001, was not shorted, but being in parallel, it did read as shorted in the circuit. We're going to replace both anyways, but it's just an interesting thing to note. once you've removed them to know exactly and confirm that what you're removing was defective. All right, we're gonna start some cleaning. Actually, maybe our metal brush might be better. There we go. Okay. It does not look like we have much damage on here like I thought there could have been. So we'll at least be able to solder to the top pads, get away with that. Everything is nice and cleaned off. We have a clean surface to work on. Our pads are nice and clean. I have already put some fresh new thermal paste on our replacement components, and I've already pre-bent some of the pins. All right. Need to line that up with the hole. And we'll do the same with the transistor. If you want to send in your SS board for us to fix, we'll have a link to our website that'll be in the description below. We fix it for a flat rate and provide you with a 1-year warranty on all of our repairs. So on the back side, our legs are protruding quite a bit, so we're going to need to cut off the excess. And we'll do our best to solder to these somewhat damaged pads. And I can still see a little metal here, so let's see if we can get good flow and good connection. Okay, I think we just got it. I'll probably just solder it up on the front as well here in a second. Okay, so I was thinking I might need to solder more on the front side, but it does look like I actually have a very good solder connection down here, so I think we're okay. Let's look at the other one. And the other one actually had very good solder connections on the back, so I think they're fine. I also don't think we need to touch that one up. All right, let's recheck our components and they've been replaced. When we get a short, we get a beep. And we get no shorts and no short. Let's check our diode. No short and no short. Okay. That does not, however, conclude our repairs yet. The reason I say that is because while those components were shorted and needed to be replaced, the actual cause of this is improper grounding right over here. So what we're gonna need to do, so as you can tell, it looks like there's some oxidation, I believe, to the solder here, which means to properly fix this circuit board, we need to remove and replace that solder. This will ensure we have a long-lasting repair. If we didn't do this cleaning, then the circuit board would not be properly grounded and we would run the risk of the transistor shorting out again. All right, and now we're gonna go ahead and replace it with some fresh solder. And of course there is flux in the solder I just used, so we wanna make sure we clean that off. And of course, we'll need to do the top as well. So it looks like the top also definitely needs to be cleaned up. Now if we take a look at some of our other joints, those are not corroded, they are okay. And this one is also okay. And same on the back here, we're okay. No oxidation. So because we had so much oxidation on the joint on the circuit board itself, there is most certainly the same amount of oxidation on the TV's chassis as well. So that's gonna be what we clean up next. So if we do take a look at that top screw hole, so obviously we can tell there is a little bit of oxidation right there we're going to want to clean up. And for the cleaning, I'm going to use this fiberglass scratch pen. You could probably use a metal brush as well. And to clean it all off, I'm going to use a Q-tip and my isopropyl alcohol. Now I'm not spraying the TV itself because there is a hole that actually gives access to the screen, so I don't want to get any liquid in there. So next I'm going to use some Deoxit D5. So it does say it helps remove oxidation, improves connection, seals and protects surfaces. Again, I'm going to spray it into my Q-tip, and I'm going to dab it around here and some of the other screw holes. And then I'm also going to put a little bit on our circuit board. Now the last thing we need to do is screw the board back in. Now the screws we are using are going to have different washers. The washers that we have on our screws are going to be lock washers, and that's going to ensure that the screws cannot get loose. All right, the SC board is back in the TV. Everything's put back together. Let's power it on and see what we get. And I just heard it click, but it is normal for it to click and actually will click back off. Let's press the power button. Our standby light is on, and we have picture, HDMI 1. So it does look like we have another successful repair. If you're interested in sending in your SS board for us to fix, again, we'll have links in the video description to our website that will have our flat rate services with a 1-year warranty. We also do include those replacement screws with our repairs. If you found the video helpful or useful, make sure to leave us a like, subscribe for more, and thank you for watching.